Well, man, first before we get on to that, let's give the haters an opportunity
Uh-oh.
to hit the chat and apologize. I mean, so many people were out there saying this season is over, that this team can't come back, that it's just been a waste of time. Neely don't know what he talking about. Big Dog don't know what he talking about. Colorado Buff season is over. I told everybody to relax. I spelled it out like Aaron Rodgers did with the RELAX. They still said, "Oh man, you just primed do boy. You don't know what you talking about." Hey Chico, I heard it all. I heard it all, and now all I hear is crickets. I just hear chirp, chirp. Because let me tell you this, I'm gonna say just like I said last week. The goals for this team set forth by the head coach, Coach Prime Deion Sanders, were still in place. One, get to a bowl game. That means 6 wins. 1A or two, whichever way you want to call it. Get to the Big 12 Conference Championship. Because if you win that, then you could be in the playoffs. But dig this, Chico. Not only did losing to Nebraska not do anything to keep you from getting 6 wins, we have still haven't played a conference game yet. But everybody wanted to act like the season was over when we lost to Nebraska. But if you listen to the so-called experts out there in Vegas who do the odds on these games, look at it here. We were supposed to beat North Dakota State. That's what Vegas said we did. We were supposed to lose to Nebraska. That's what happened. We were supposed to beat Colorado State. That's what happened. But the haters out there, they've been every time we play somebody, they say we're gonna lose. Thank God the players and the coaches don't be listening to the haters. They put in the work each week and they get out there and do what they're gonna do. Came out of Fort Collins with victory.
And we told y'all we don't need no hateration or no holleration
Not
in
no
this
holleration.
dancery.
I'm still trying to catch up with Mary and know what the hell all that means, but I
The-
love it.
right. What does it mean? You know, she made her own word up back then.
Yeah.
So we understood. We understand though. We know what we talk. Know what she's talking about.
Oh yeah.
And one guy. Before we even go to the game, let me just go ahead and give to the chat too. We're gonna sit back and wait. Y'all want to get in the chat and hate? Get it in.
Oh yeah, man. Look, this is a big tent. It's got room for lovers and haters on it. The only way you can convert haters into lovers is they got to be around the lovers. Y'all come on in. Like, and sooner or later, something gonna rub off on you, and you're gonna see what's being built here in Boulder, Colorado, and you're gonna understand that this arrow is absolutely pointing up.
Where you at now, Paul Feinbaum? Where you talk? Where you talk about now? Dion has just got all this other stuff. Paul Feinbaum got to say, man. So, the haters going to be there, man. But at the end of the day, we got to do what we have to do. And going up to Fort Collins to get a win versus Colorado State, after they did all that smack talking, we saw what happened in the post game. People want to talk about that. I probably would have reacted the same way Shador did, honestly, after somebody did what they did, and set themselves up for it. Even before that, though, terrible game, in my opinion, by the quarterback after doing that much talking. Horton was hurt. As I predicted, with that soft tissue injury and the groin injury, he wasn't going to get to the fourth quarter 100%. And that's what happened. The young running back was pretty good for Colorado State, too. Shout out to Marshall. But our defense really showed up, man. They've been showing up these past 3 weeks. And shout out to Coach Rob Livingston. I think he's been just a quiet MVP for this coaching staff and these players. Man, can you talk about the defense, man, and how great they were? I call the Road Warriors, Nakai Hill Green and Levante Bentley, Hawk and Animal.
Oh
So
yeah. I,
talk to
I
me
I
about
knew
that
I
defense.
knew look, I'm old school wrestler. I knew who you were talking about.
That
I knew you were
okay.
talking about the one with the two strips and then one with the
Yes.
mohawk. And they come in and
What a
slide under the
rush.
ring. Yeah, what a rush.
Yeah,
Yeah.
slide under the
No,
rope.
I know exactly what you talk with the shoulder pads with the spikes on them.
Yes.
I know exactly what you talk.
Out of
Hey, but
Chicago, Illinois.
but Chico, one thing I'm not finna let stand. I know you got to do what you do. You the host. You kick this thing off, and you set it up with them big words, and you end it with peace in the Middle East. I love what you do, but one thing I can't let you do is sit here and make excuses for them. Because when you
Okay.
step across that line, they not gonna give us no benefit of the doubt if we got an injured player or if we not 100% here and there. When that game kicked off and you were on that field, I don't care if you were 14-5-1, whatever your damn number was, we had to play ball that night. And so shout out to anybody, who had to overcome something. Both teams do. I will say this: hats off. Big salute to Colorado State's fans, their student section, the light show that they do. They bring some energy to be a smaller venue, man. It was right up there with what Nebraska did as far as creating a hostile environment. I don't have no problem with somebody talking some smack. I don't have no problem with people giving pregame hype, but just keep that same energy post game when it doesn't go the way you said it was going to go. We didn't do all that talking and wolfing and barking and selling tickets. We just simply prepared all week and went into the environment on the road. It's much like basketball, Chico. They say the season don't start till you win one on the road, like when you're playing a tournament. We
Yeah.
have now got a road victory, in these two wins. We got one at home, took that loss to Nebraska on the road, got a win in Fort Collins. Now we go into conference play with Baylor coming to town this coming weekend. I think that was a big win. I told everybody who would listen, because of the Nebraska loss, it did feel like a must-win situation, not as it relates to our goals for the season, just the psychology. Because when you start off your season and you got three non-conference games, you don't want to be 1-2 when you could be 2-1 going into your conference schedule. And so
Right.
it felt like that must kind of win game, even though it wouldn't have taken away from the goals because you got too much football left. Nevertheless, man, Travis, Shador, people said that we can't run the ball. And I used to challenge all week long. Y'all are looking at the final stats of the run game, and in college, the sacks take off the run game. If you
Right.
would go look at some of the runs that were happening in the first two games, it's clear that we can run the ball. And when you run the ball and protect Shador, you don't have the deductions in the rushing yards, and he's going to pick you apart surgically because he got time. His feet were clean all night. He was able to stand and roll out when he wanted to. And man, could find Wester, could find Shepard, could find Travis, of course. Outstanding display, by QB1.
I think you hit everything. Travis Hunter hit a record also, first one in CU history to have four consecutive receiving yards, or four consecutive games with 100 receiving yards
Yeah.
or more. Travis Hunter has done that. Shador Sanders was 36 to 49, 310 yards, four touchdowns, no interceptions. Great game. Once he got going, he got into a groove. Um, in the offensive line, of course, they probably got. I think did they get a game ball? I know Coach Prime gave out some game balls. I wasn't able to see everything, but
Yeah, he gave
uh,
it. He first game ball he gave was to the entire offensive line.
right. So the offensive line gets the game ball as they should. Shout out to Phil Houston. I think they only gave up what was it, 10 total pressures the whole game, and that was
Yeah.
their first time working together like that. How important and were the offensive line and doing what they doing and helping the run game, getting a
I
guy like Michael Welch going, and
I
so on.
I think it was vitally important. I think what was important, what was happening internally, the coaches, Shador, the running backs, the wide receivers, the defensive line, everybody poured into this O line all week, letting them know, man, hey, we believe in you, we with you. I said all summer long, we've been together. I said all summer long that this line was better than last year's line. You have what happened in Nebraska, and everybody wanted to shoot the arrows and say you got to switch people out, you got to bench people. This offensive line sucks. And I challenge you now. I challenge you with 3 games in the books. 2 of those games were with same opponents from last year. Go look at the O line stats. 3 games this year, 3 games last year, including Nebraska in it now, and you will
Mhm.
see how vastly improved this line is. Everybody wants to jump off the bandwagon because of one game, a game that the expert says we weren't going to win. And then when
Mm.
you lose it, everybody's shooting arrows saying Prime don't know what he's doing, the ship is sinking, et cetera, et cetera. When you look at that first game against North Dakota State, and that almost 500 yards in total offense, you look at what happened just last night in Fort Collins, you can see what this team is capable of when it relates to what I call complementary football. Uh, Mate was able to pin some down there inside the 5, coming back after he had shanked one. You looked at, we were able to get some interceptions, got a sack on the season finally, something that's been long overdue. This team is gelling at the right time going into conference play. I love what this offensive line is doing. And keep in mind, guys like Justin Mayer, they're going to be back out there. There's going to be a rotational basis to this based up on matchup and situations.
I think so also, with that offensive line. Great job by them. We got a couple of super chats we want to give a shout out to and acknowledge right here. Geraldo Ramos, TPT game 1 versus one of the best FCS schools, game 2 versus Big Ten school with lots of returners on both sides. We needed time to gel. It's up from here. We appreciate that, Ramos.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Ramos. Sometimes, man, when I say something because I'm in these meetings all day long, or you hear coaches say it at a press conference, people try to dismiss this as coach talk, coach speak. They just saying that to be motivational. But the truth is that Nebraska loss was one of those things that something good was going to come from it because it taught you about your team. It taught you about who you can count on. It gave you the opportunity to fix things. You can learn so much from a loss and where you truly are as far as team and team unity and who you can count on in these situations. And you look at the adjustments that Coach Phil Lodeholt made, Coach Pat Shermer made, the continued adjustments by Rob Livingston and his defense. It shows you where this team is headed, what it's capable of. And what I said all summer long, when people used to ask me, hey, Neely, what games are you looking forward to the most? I would tell them conference opener with Baylor, and then that first road trip in conference to Central Florida. I think those are really going to stack up and show you what's being built here and where we are in the Big 12.
Yeah, Central Florida is still doing their thing down there. I predicted them to be a good ball club. I like what they did in recruiting. Um, Shout out to DJ for the 9.99 super chat. Mad love, respect to the O line. They did their thing, and everybody better watch out going forward. Love seeing Rock at left guard and Houston at right tackle. Houston will be a problem with more reps. I think so. Also, he really came in and did his thing, stepping in with his first start at the right tackle position. Had a couple little hiccups, but overall, I think he only gave up about 3 or 4 pressures, but played very well in his first start.
Absolutely.
Is
But you,
she?
you crazy as hell, Chico. He is crazy as
Ocho,
hell.
Ocho, I told him a private in private, Ocho. My grandmother called me.
Ah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we appreciate you guys
D
tuning
Generation
in.
X, boy, he proudly presents
That's what I'm
the
talking about.
tag team champions of the
Of the what?
world. The road dog, big dog Chico. The badass underneath it.
The new Hey
Hey.
Outlaws. And if you got a problem with that, we
You
got
got 2
two
words.
words for you. And y'all know what they are. Put them in the chat right now, baby.